Okay, we have a fairly expensive optonica cassette deck, and it has no line fuse in it for overcurrent protection, and we're going to put this fuse in it. You can see how tiny that little filament is inside there. See how small that little filament is? If something goes wrong inside the unit, like a rectifier diode going bad, it can short out and heat up the transformer, and while it's taking time to burn out the house fuses, you can see how big those filaments are inside there. While it's taking time to burn them, the one on the left is a 15 amp and the one on the right is a 20 amp. While it's taking time to burn that out, it can be causing damage to the power transformer and overheat and possibly start the house on fire. As you can see, the unit is UL listed, so they had forgotten about overcurrent protection and fire prevention. Here is the specs on the unit. Okay, so we're going to mount our fuse block right here. Yeah, feel the disconnect here. And I'll grind off the burrs on the outside there. Grind off the burrs on the inside. And I'll use a vacuum cleaner to pick them up. We're going to use rosin core flux on our solder connections. Okay, so first I clip this little zip tie off. We're going to have to replace when we put our cord on. And I'll clip the side off. We're going to put the fuse on. Now just pull it back. We'll clip this solder joint off flush with the board. We'll use our solder pump here. We'll use our rosin core solder. I'll tin the iron just a bit here. I'll clip a little more off here. I'll go right down on there and Clip it right out of there. I'll heat this up. Now I'm on the other side of the board here where the runs are not on this side of the board. So now I move this wire out of the way so I don't burn it. Okay, now I'll clean the solder off of this hole here. Okay, so we'll get our sandpaper out here. Take our fuse block here. I'll sand it so I get a good solder flow. Okay, we'll use some 18 gauge wire here. Okay, so we're getting ready to solder our first connection. I'll first put the wire in the hole. See how those strands come out? You don't want that, so gotta bring them in, twist them in. I'll go do it again. There we go, they're all in. I take the pliers, I flatten them down here. Take and put some flux here on the top, put some on the bottom, put some solder on my iron, and this is what I call a drop solder. Now I'll go down and heat the bottom, get a nice flow through. I don't like how it didn't quite fill in the top there, so I'm going to stick a little more flux there. Put just a little more solder on the iron. And I'll heat that right there again. There, we got a nice clean solder joint. And let that cool a bit. We'll take our 18 gauge yellow wire here. I'll twist my strands together here. Put them in through the hole, make sure all the strands go through. Squeeze down, squeeze up. And I'll bring them all, make sure they're all in over the terminal there. I'll put some flux here on the top and some on the bottom there. I'll put a little solder on my iron. And I'll heat the terminal and the wire. And I'll go down on the bottom here. I'll let that cool. I like how nice and clean that came out. I'll look on the bottom. There's a little spike there on the bottom, and I don't like that little spike, so I'll put some more flux here. And I'll just heat the whole thing up again. Let it cool a bit. Now that little spike is gone. So this block is going to be going right here. This wire is going to be going in here. So just for a minute here, I'm going to screw the block back here a bit. There's another step I have to do, so we're going to go in this hole right here. We're going to strip quite a bit of copper off of this here. We're going to go down, we're going to twist them together some, go into the hole, make sure that all the strands come through. Okay, not to strip this even longer. Twist them together. Go in the hole. Okay, I want to make sure some of this copper is sticking up here on the top. I'm going to go around. You can see that's how they did it in the factory. I'm going to put some flux on this side where the solder connection is. And I'm going to put some solder on this side for where it's going to be tinning it up through. Okay, so I'm going to solder this side here. Okay, I didn't quite fill the hole up, so I'm going to clean the tips some more. I'm going to put some more solder on the tip here. I'm going to hold that wire out. There we go. Now it filled that hole. And you can see I got a nice flow through on this side. And a very nice flow through on that side. Okay, so we gotta take this back off now that I got it where I want it. Okay, I'm gonna bend these two terminals up a little bit just so that they look better. And we gotta put a plastic divider behind this because it is, the rivets are on the back side there. So this is plastic for isolating electrical components from metal, like a metal chassis. So I'm going to put my hole here in the middle. And I'll cut it off across the top there. Now I like to put some electrical tape on the back of these plastic dividers just to give it a little extra protection. I'll put 3 layers on here. And there we go, we got 3 layers. And I'll just cut it off even with the plastic there. I'll put the tape facing down. I'll poke a hole through the tape. Okay, so I'm going to put this divider on. I'll make sure the divider is straight and the block is straight. Make sure everything's all nice and straight there. And afterwards I'll put a little Loctite on the screw head here so it doesn't loosen up. And we'll put our zip ties back in here. And once you know it, I'm all out of them. But a zip tie is going to go here and here. This wire will be just tucked down. And that really is a bummer to run out of stuff when you need it. But that, oh, I take it back, they're right here. I just want to make sure it's not going to hit anything. I might want to get a zip tie down here in the bottom. Once you know it, I want to, I can still put it there. It broke. Well, just this one will be good enough right there. And now we'll do the most important thing, put our 1/2 amp fuse in here. And now this unit is protected from overcurrent, and we have fire prevention now. Thanks for watching.